everyone, welcome to the video lecture series of data analytics. Its subject code is KCS051 and me. I am Prachi Pundhir, Assistant Professor in CSE Department of Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. In the last session, we have discussed few basics of data analytics, and in today's class, I will be carry forward the topics related to data analytics. The modules which I will be covering is related to the syllabus of data analytics that is affiliated to AKTU, Lucknow. So, the topics which I will be covering, as I told you earlier also, the topics which I will be covering data sources and nature of data. So, in the previous class, in the last session, I have discussed data sources and nature of data, classification of data, structured, semi-structured and unstructured data, characteristics of data, introduction to big data platform. So, I have already covered these topics, and now in today's class I will be focusing on, first I will be explaining one example of data analytics, and after that I will be moving on to analytic process and tools, analysis versus reporting, modern data analytics tools, application of data analytics. So, in today's class I will be discussing all these topics. Along with these topics, this is also a part of the curriculum, data analytics life cycle. That includes need, key roles for successful analytic project, various phases of data analytics life cycle, that is discovery, data preparation, model planning, model building, communicating results and operationalization. So, this is all related to data analytics life cycle. Now, I have already covered this point that what is data. Data is defined as any form of information that has been gathered or organized in meaningful format, wherein they could be processed further. In other words, data are the known facts that can be recorded and have some meaning, implicit meaning. So, I have already covered all these points, examples, types of big data. So, these are the 5 V's of big data. I have already discussed: summary, characteristics. Now, moving on to the example part. So, this is data analytics life cycle. This is analytics example. So, first of all, this is the state of a lion. Initially, it was happy, and due to hunger, it suddenly changes to anger. Due to hunger, it suddenly changes to anger. Now suppose if lion hired a data scientist, that is fox in this example, to help find a prey. The fox had, why he hired a data scientist? Because fox had a rich data warehouse which has of data about the jungle. It has all the information. Fox has all the information about the jungle, its creatures and events happening in the jungle. So, in case a lion wants to find a prey, so with the help of this data, with the help of fox, he can easily find a prey. And now fox is working here as a data scientist in this example. Now, so, this is what descriptive analytics. In the previous class, I have discussed the theoretical part, and now I am telling you with the help of an example. So, descriptive analytics. This report is being prepared by, a fox. So, fox is working here as a data scientist. This report consists of wild animals, some other animals in the jungle. It's every point where they are located, its location, and how many, its numbers, everything is being prepared and is stored in this report. Now, this report helped lion to decide where to go for the hunting next. So, the fox presented lion with the report summarizing where all she should find her prey in the last 6 months. So, this is a general report, and this report will help a lion here in order to find a prey, and this is this is descriptive analytics. Okay. Now, predictive analytics. Predictive analytics itself means predictions. So it's like, next the fox estimated the probability of finding a given prey at a certain place and time using advanced ML technique, using advanced machine learning technique. Let's say this is position of the Narela bypass, Sindhu border Narela bypass, and probability of finding it is like 0.35, 0.15, 0.50, 0.99, 0.01. Distance is this. So we can say this is predictive analytics, and this is the fox estimated the probability of finding a prey. Now optimization. Optimization itself means finding a best path, best route. So in this case, let's say prey lies here and there are n number of possible paths. So lion can go on this path, he can go by this path also, and there is no path here. So optimization means finding the best path and traveling on that particular path. Here there is no path, so lion will not prefer to go on this path, and here by this long path, this path is a little bit longer, so it is time consuming, so lion will definitely travel by this path in order to find her prey. So this is what optimization is. Now this is prescriptive analytics. Prescriptive analysis is giving some sort of prescription. It's like on 30th June 2018 with probability 0.78, there is some probability of finding a prey on this particular date. This probability, this is what we should say, it is automation model for prescriptive analytics. So on 1st July 2018 with probability 0.68, similarly there are like different dates and different probabilities of finding a prey. So this is prescriptive analytics. Now these are all examples, and this is what data analytics is. Data analytics is what in order to present data in a meaningful manner to someone, so that it gives a proper pictorial representation of any data, and it is useful in various ways. There are various applications of data analytics that I will be discussing today. Now before that, I want to tell you some top tools in data analytics. So some top tools in data analytics. Why the tools are required? The tools are required because with the increasing demand for data analytics in the market, many tools have emerged with various functionalities for this purpose. It can be either open source or user friendly. The top tools in the data analytics markets is as follows. The first one is R programming. R programming is, see, you will be studying this R tool in this curriculum as well, and we will be learning few concepts of R programming in unit 5th in this curriculum only. So R programming, this tool is the leading analytic tool used for statistics and data modeling. R compiles and runs on various platforms such as Unix, it can run on Windows, Mac operating system. It also provides tools to automatically install as per the user requirement. Now the R environment. Now what is the R environment? R is an integrated suite of software facilities for data manipulation, calculation and graphical display. So I can say our environment provides an integrated suite of software that facilitates for data manipulation. We can manipulate our data, we can calculate different if suppose I want to do certain calculations on data, that can be done with the help of the R environment. And graphical display, it also displays various kinds of images. So it includes an effective data handling and storage facility, first point. Second, it is a suite of operators for calculations on arrays in particular matrices. It is a large, coherent, integrated collection of intermediate tools for data analysis. Graphical facilities, it provides graphical display of different images, and it is useful in various organizations as well. Graphical facilities for data analysis and display either on screen or on hard copy, and a well developed, simple and effective programming language which includes conditionals, loops, user defined recursive functions, and input and output functions. So we will be starting this R tool along with how to run this R, how to use this, how to use its software. So we will be learning this in the 5th unit because it is a part of our curriculum. Now the next tool is Python. Python is open source object oriented programming language which is easy to read, write and maintain. Python can also handle text data very well. So Python is a must for students and working professionals to become a great software engineer. Actually, when they are working in web development domain, I will list down some of the key advantages of learning Python, and these are the advantages. First is Python is interpreted. Python is processed at runtime by the interpreter. You do not need to compile your program before executing it. This is somewhat similar to Perl and PHP. Python is interactive language. You can actually sit at a Python prompt and interact with the interpreter directly to write your programs. So it is interactive as well. Now, Python is object-oriented language. Python supports object-oriented styles or techniques of programming that encapsulates code within objects. Now we can also say Python is a beginner's language. So this is like, that's why we are using this Python language in today's scenario, and it is becoming popular day by day because it is a beginner's language. Python is a great language for the beginners level programmers and supports the development of a wide range of applications from simple text to processing to WWW, World Wide Web browsers to games. So Python can be used in order to make interactive websites. It can be used in order to make various softwares. So it's like it is a beginner's language. It is easy to use and it supports development of wide range of application, as I told you. Now characteristics of Python. Following are the important characteristics of Python programming. First one, it supports functional and structured programming methods as well as object oriented programming. It can be used as a scripting language or can be compiled to bytecode for building large applications. So it provides very high level dynamic data types and also supports dynamic type checking. It supports automatic garbage collection. So these are the characteristics of Python, and it is one of the tool of data analytics. It can be easily integrated with C, C++, ActiveX, Corba, Java, etc. So these are the different characteristics of Python. Moving on to another tool. Now the next tool is ClickView. ClickView core and patented technology has the feature of in-memory data processing. In-memory data processing, which gives super fast result to the user because everything is processed in memory and hence the results are much faster in comparison to some other tools. Features of ClickView. So these are the features of ClickView. First one is it has patented technology which enables it to have many features that are useful in creating advanced reports from multiple data sources quickly. Following is a list of features that makes ClickView very unique. So these are the list of features that makes ClickView unique. First one is data association is maintained automatically. So ClickView automatically recognizes the relationship between each piece of data. See, we have data collected from various sources. So ClickView automatically recognizes the relationship between each piece of data that is present in the data set. Users need not pre-configure the relationship between different data entities. So users need not to pre-configure the relationship between data entities. Now the third one is data is held in memory for multiple users. Data is held in memory for multiple users for a super fast user experience. So the structure, data and calculations of report are all held in the memory. That is RAM of the server. Everything is held in the memory, that's why calculations becomes much more easier. Now aggregations. Aggregations are calculated on the fly as needed. As the data is held in memory, calculations are done on the fly. No need of storing pre-calculated aggregated values. So, no need of storing pre-calculated aggregate values. Now, data is compressed to 10% of its original size. So, this is like we can say features of ClickView, that data is compressed to 10% of its original size. ClickView heavily uses data dictionary. Only essential bits of data in memory is required for any analysis. It compresses the original data to a very small size. Now, I should say the next feature is visual relationship using colors. So, the relationship between data is not shown by some arrow or lines or by dots. It is shown by colors. Selecting a piece of data gives specific colors to the related data and another colors related to unrelated data. So, colors are decided and specific data is been assigned with some specific color to the related data and another color to the data that is not related. So, direct and indirect searches. In this, instead of giving the direct value a user is looking for, they can input some related data and get the exact result because of the data association. So, of course, they can also search for a value directly. So, you can see this is the data set given different colors to it, and by this ClickView is being represented. So, it gives some sort of beautiful view as well, and that is why it is used as one of the tool of data analytics. Now, the next tool of data analytics is Tableau Public. This is a free software that connects to any data source such as Excel, corporate data warehouse, etc. It then creates visualizations, maps, dashboards, etc. with real-time updates on the web. So, you can see the diagram over here. So, Tableau Public is like a free software available open source. You can directly download it and use it, and it is connected to any data sources such as Excel. You can see this Excel and corporate data warehouse, etc. So, it is used basically for visualizations, maps, dashboard. You can see this is a map, right? So, dashboards. So, this is another tool of data analytics. Now, the next tool of data analytics is Statistical Analysis System, that is SAS, a programming language and environment for data manipulation and analytics. This tool is easily accessible and can analyze data from different sources. So, this tool is easily available again, we can say, and it is used to analyze data from different sources. So, by this visualizations and in order to analyze data from different sources is being done. Now, the another tool is Apache Spark. It was introduced by Apache Software Foundation for speeding up the Hadoop computational computing software process. As against a common belief, Spark is not modified version of Hadoop and is not really dependent on Hadoop because it has its own cluster management. Hadoop is just one of the ways to implement Spark. So, Hadoop is what? It is just one of the way in order to implement Spark. So, Spark uses Hadoop in two ways. One is storage and second is processing. So, in two ways Spark uses Hadoop. One is storage and the other one is processing. Since Spark has its own cluster management computation, it uses Hadoop for storage purpose only. Fine. Now, features of Apache Spark. Apache Spark has following features. Speed. Spark helps to run an application in Hadoop cluster up to 100 times faster in memory. Up to 100 times faster in memory and 10 times faster when running on disk. So, this is possibly by reducing number of read and write operations to disk. It stores the intermediate processing data in memory. Now, storage multiple, it also supports multiple languages. now supports multiple languages. Spark provides built-in APIs. Spark provide built-in APIs in Java, Scala or Python. Therefore, you can write applications in different languages. Now Spark comes up with 80 high-level operators for interactive querying. Now advanced analytics. Spark not only supports map and reduce, it also supports SQL queries, streaming data, machine learning and graph algorithm. So this is some of the features of Apache Spark, and it is one of the most important tool of data analytics as well. Now Excel. So Excel is very basic, it is popular and widely used analytic tool almost in all industries. Whether you are an expert in SAS, SAS, R or Tableau, you will need to use Excel. So if any person is working anywhere in any organization, one time will come that he has to use his Excel. So that's why this line has been mentioned here. Whether you are expert in SAS, R or Tableau, you will still need to use this Excel. So Excel becomes important when there is a requirement of analytics on the client's internal data. It analyzes the helps in filtering the data as per client requirement. So it analyzes the complex task of summaries the data with a preview of pivot tables that helps in filtering the data as per client requirement. So Excel has the advanced business analytics option which helps in modeling capabilities which have pre-built options like automatic relationship detection, etc. So this tool is one of the most widely used tool for data analytics, mostly used for clients' internal data. This tool analyzes the tasks that summarizes the data with a preview of pivot tables. So these are some tables. This is Excel. So this is one of the most important tool of data analytics. Now RapidMiner, a powerful integrated platform that can integrate with any data source such as Access, Excel, Microsoft SQL, Teradata, Oracle, Sybase, etc. So this tool is mostly used for predictive analytics. I have already told you what predictive analytics is, and in today's class I have told you with the help of an example, with the proper pictorial representation of an example, what prediction is, predictive analytics, such as data mining, text analytics and machine learning. So RapidMiner is again a powerful integrated platform. Now KNIME, Constant Information Miner, KNIME or KNIME, is an open source data analytics platform which allow you to analyze and model data with the benefit of visual programming. KNIME provides a platform for reporting and integration through its modular data pipeline concept. Now what I can do with KNIME analytics platform, it is well suited for the following. So first one is ETL. ETL is extract, transform and load, moving data around from here to there and cleaning it up. So this is what extract, transform and load. Now machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, NLP, API integration and interactive visual analytics. It is somewhat of a basic feature, beta feature. So this we can do with KNIME analytics platform, all of this. So it is well suited for the following. Now Splunk, it is a software platform to search, analyze and visualize the machine generated data gathered from different websites, applications, sensors, devices, etc., which make up your IT infrastructure and business. If you have a machine which is generating data continuously and you want to analyze the machine state in real time, then how will you do it? Can you do it with the help of Splunk? Yes, of course, we will do it with the help of Splunk when the data is being continuously generated. We can means you can. The image below with the help you to relate how Splunk collects data. So this is like from different data sources machine is continuously generating data and we want to analyze it, so we can do it with the help of this tool, Splunk. Now OpenRefine, also known as Google Refine. This data cleaning software will help you to clean up data for analysis. It is used for cleaning messy data, the transformations of data and parsing data from websites. Now OpenRefine also, it always keeps your data private on your own computer until you want to share or collaborate. Your private data never leaves your computer unless you want it to. So it works by running a small server on your computer and you use your web browser to interact with it. So this is OpenRefine. Now that you all know what is data analytics, you know about the tools of data analytics. Now who is data analyst? So data analyst is, then my answer would be that data analyst is a professional who can analyze data by applying various tools and techniques and gathering the required information, required insights of the data. So data analyst translate numbers into plain language, plain English. A data analyst delivers value to their companies by taking information about specific topics and then interpreting, analyzing and presenting findings in comprehensive reports. So if you have the capability to collect data from various sources, analyze the data, gather hidden insights and generate reports, then definitely you can become a data analyst. So this is the image. First of all, data will be collected from various sources. These are the databases: MongoDB, MySQL. Now analysis of data will be done. Now reports generation. So this report is used at various levels. If suppose anyone wants to get any information, then this report will definitely help in any organization. It can help any individual as well. So this is the process of data analytics. That is what is data analytics. Now apart from the above mentioned capabilities, a data analyst should also possess skills such as statistics, data cleaning, exploratory data analysis and data visualization. Also, if you have a knowledge of machine learning, then that would make you stand out from the crowd. Therefore, we can say data analysis is the process of collecting, cleaning, interpreting, transforming and modeling data to gather insights and generate reports to gain business profits. So the image in the last slide I have already shown you. Collect data. The data gets collected from various sources that is stored and it can be cleaned and prepared. In this step, all the missing values and outliers are removed. Analyze data. Once the data is ready, the next step is to analyze data. A model is done repeatedly for improvements. Then the model is validated to check whether it meets the business requirements or not. Now create reports. Finally, the model is implemented and then reports thus generated are passed on to the stakeholders that will use that particular reports. Now analysis versus reporting. What actually analysis is and what reporting is. So first 2 points, this reporting and analysis. So what reporting is? The process of organizing data into information summaries in order to monitor how different areas of business are performing. So reporting is this. Analysis is the process of exploring data and reports in order to extract meaningful insights which can be used to better understand and improve business performance. So reporting translates raw data into information, and analysis transform data and information into insights. So reporting helps companies to monitor their online business and be alerted to when falls outside. of expected ranges. Good reporting should raise questions about the business from its end users. Now, the goal of analysis is to answer questions by interpreting the data at a deeper level and providing actionable recommendations. Then the process of performing analysis, you may raise additional questions, but the goal is to identify answers, at least potential answers that can be tested. In summary, reporting is what is happening, while analysis focuses on explaining why it is happening and what you can do about it. So, what is happening is reporting, and analysis focus on why it is happening and what you can do about it. So, this is the diagram of this data, reporting, analytics that includes data analysis and business expertise, recommendations and desired outcomes. So, this is the whole process. Now, data, reporting, analysis, action and value. This is whole the process. Now, reporting will tells us what is happening and analysis will tells us, it will explain why it is happening and what we can do about it. So, for example, this is like, for example, a firm may be focused on general ideas of analytics, strategy, implementation, reporting, but not necessarily on the specific aspect of analysis. It's almost like some organizations run out of gas after the initial setup related activities and don't make to the analysis stage. In addition, sometimes the lines between reporting and analysis, it can be blurred. Sometimes what feels like analysis is really just a flavor of reporting. So, these two phases, sometimes we feel like that they are merged. Now, one way to distinguish whether your organization is emphasizing reporting or analysis is by identifying the primary tasks that are being performed by your analytics team. If most of the team time is spent on activities, such as building, configuring, consolidating, organizing, formatting and summarizing, that's reporting. Now, analysis focuses on different tasks such as questioning, examining, interpreting, comparing and confirming. Now, reporting and analysis can be intervened, but your analytics team should still evaluate where it is spending the majority of its time. In most cases, I have seen analytics team spend most of their time on reporting tasks. So this is what reporting follows: a push approach where reports are pushed to the users, okay, who are then expected to extract meaningful insights and take appropriate actions for themselves, self-serve. And when you look at this deliverables, they may look a lot more similar. You can see lots of charts, graphs, trend lines, tables, etc. are there in this also. So, however, there are some sort of subtle differences. One of the major difference between reporting and analysis is the overall approach. So, reporting follows a push approach. Now, analysis versus reporting. So, 3 reports are there: canned report, dashboards and alerts. Canned reports, these are the out of the box and custom reports that you can access within the analytic tool, which can also be delivered on a recurring basis to a group of end users. Canned reports are fairly static with fixed metrics and dimensions. In general, some canned reports are more valuable than a report's value, may depend on how relevant. So, it can say it is to the individual's roles. Just wait. So, dashboard. These custom made reports combine different knowledge processing outcomes and reports to provide a comprehensive high level view of business performance for specific audience. Dashboards may include data from various data sources and also usually fairly static. Now, alerts. Alerts is also a conditional report that are triggered when data falls outside of expected ranges or some other predefined criteria is met. Once people are notified of what happened, they can take appropriate actions as necessary. So, These are, I just want to conclude this thing. In contrast, analysis follows a pull approach, where particular data is pulled by an analyst in order to answer some specific business questions. So, a basic informal analysis can occur whenever someone simply performs some kind of mental assessment. Ad hoc responses and analysis presentation. So, when you compare the two sets of reporting and analysis deliverables, the different purpose information versus insights reveals the true color of the output. Reporting pushes the information to the organization, and analysis pulls the insights from the report and data. So, this is the key difference. Now, this analysis versus reporting final words, I should say, they go hand in hand. But how much effort and resources are being spent on each area at your company? Where I hear a client is struggling to find value from the web analytics investment, it usually means one of the dominoes, that is path to value, is missing, and often analysis is that misplaced domino. So, this is the dominoes that should be followed, like data, reporting, analysis and actionable items. The key factors that define a report includes it provide back to the user the data that was asked for. That data will be provided in a standardized predefined format. The data that will be provided in a standardized predefined format. There is no person involved in generating a report outside of the user who are requested the report through is. As a result, reports, we can say, are highly inflexible. So, this is a summary. And reporting provides data, analysis provides answers. Reporting provides what is asked for, and analysis provides what is needed. It is typically standardized, and analysis is typically customized. Does not involve a person, reporting does not involve a person, and analysis involves a person. Reporting is fairly inflexible, and analysis is extremely flexible. So, that's all for today. So, in today's class we have discussed this applications of data analytics, and the data analytics life cycle will be discussed in the forthcoming sessions. Thank you.